Happy New Year, all you trucksters out there. As always, this is
Nathan
and Roman saying thank you for tuning in. This is our annual, not what happened, but what's coming up, TFL Truck Show. So coming up in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about the truck trends that will be affecting your life in 2015. And that is coming up
on the Fast Lane Truck.
So welcome back. It's all trucks all the time here at TFL Truck, Nathan. It's been a hell of a year for trucks, and it's going to be a hell of a 2015 for trucks because we've got the top 5 truck trends coming right now. Number 5, HD. They're going to be huge in 2015. HD trucks are just going to go through the roof, I predict.
Absolutely. And yes, these are predictions, but they're logical ones. Think about it this way. Every single truck maker that sells in North America has an HD truck that has more power, more torque, more capability, and more comfort. Everything's slammed together, and they are absolutely going after each other, and it's like dogs fighting for meat, and we love it.
We love it, and of course what's driving that is the price of diesel.
That's right.
Which is going down, down, down.
A little bit, but the price of gasoline's also going down, and a lot of these HD trucks have large displacement gas engines, and now that gas is so bloody cheap, I guarantee you, big trucks gonna sell high.
All right, here's a question for you, Nathan.
Yeah.
You know the new Nissan Titan with the Cummins?
Yes.
That's been, of course, rumored and done to death, and we're just, you know, at the edge of our seats waiting for that to be unveiled in 2015. Now, is that a heavy-duty truck or is that a light-duty truck? Because where does that one fall?
I have no clue.
I think it's somewhere in between, right? It's going to be. It's not quite a light duty, right? It's not a 1500.
No.
And it's not a heavy duty. It's somewhere because it's got the engine of a heavy duty truck.
Yes.
But yet it's got the size and chassis of, you know, a typical 1500.
We'll definitely be talking about that again. And by the way, Fred Diaz, who used to work at Ram, is now in charge at Nissan, and he brought in a lot of the information coming in from Ram that is now being plugged into Nissan. So a lot of what you're seeing with the Nissan Titan when it comes out will be because of Fred Diaz.
And of course I had a chance this year to drive the new Frontier. Well, it's not new, but it's a prototype with the Cummins. And that's going to blur the lines in even more because now you're talking about, you know, these medium-sized light-duty trucks that have potential diesels in them. I mean, it's crazy, right?
That's right, and we will be talking about that shortly.
Yeah, so I won't jump to that one. Number 4, more tech and more refinement. What do I mean by that?
Well, if you've been looking at trucks recently, you may have noticed that the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon have much more refined interiors, and they drive like cars. Now, it's been said before, but really, these truly do drive like cars. They are quiet like cars. The interior is set up like a car, and there will be more and more gizmos and goodies that are going to be standard on trucks in the very near future. Lane departure,
blind spot warning.
Yeah, all that stuff is coming, and it's going to be standard in trucks very, very soon, and it's optional in many trucks right now.
Yeah, I mean, anything you could probably get in a high-end German luxury car. I'm thinking like S-Class, BMW 7 Series will be available in a truck. And it used to be when you got behind the wheel of a truck, you felt like you were, you know, driving a work truck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not anymore. If you don't look in the rearview mirror, you have no clue that you're behind the wheel of a truck. This is like a large crossover, and I think that's because trucks are becoming, or are, specifically in Texas, the family vehicle.
Yeah, they've been that way for a while, but even more so now because refinement has increased. Look at it this way. There are now coil springs throughout many of these vehicles, or air suspensions throughout many of these vehicles. Even with the regular leaf springs, they've actually changed the rate of where they bounce and where they even exist on the rear of the truck, and that makes a difference in ride and handling. These vehicles, these trucks, these massive trucks handle so much better today that you could take them back in time a couple years and they would outhandle many cars.
You know, over at TFL Car we did the same show, right? And
yeah.
So one of the predictions was that number 1 prediction was the crossovers are going to rule the land.
Yep.
Because of the way that they're, you know, taller, you can see over. But in a truck here, you know, the crossover, it's a little tiny thing. When you're in a proper truck,
knock them off the road like a ping pong ball.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, it's a crossover 3x larger. So it's a trend that's going to continue, and I'm just stoked about it, dude. It's cool. All right, number 3, higher strength and less weight.
This all goes to Ford, but it also goes to a couple other automakers and truck makers out there. Ford, obviously, for those of you who've been living under a rock, Ford has now taken their F-150 and they've
doubled down,
and they have aluminum all over on the outside, and then the frame itself is much lighter and stronger. It's steel, but they have lighter components on the vehicles now throughout the line. They have aluminum, they have all of these things which make them lighter, which means they handle better, which means they get slightly better gas mileage, and it means that the power is put to the road in a much more efficient way. Now, they're not the only automaker to do something unique. There are other truck makers out there that are putting composite shells in the back, perhaps on the fenders in the back or on the inside of the box.
It's all about weight savings having to do with better fuel economy.
And that's going to continue because Ford will set a precedent of some sort based on what their mileage is, or at least based on what their vehicles can do. And they're still proving, man, they're trying so hard to prove that this is the best thing they can do. So they're not the only ones who are going to do it. We hear rumors now that there are composite systems that are going to be put into various vehicles
I mean, imagine taking 700 pounds off a Raptor.
700 pounds off of any truck is huge.
Right? I mean, that's just incredible. That means like 3 people, or 2 of us.
And according to Ford, the aluminum is better in every possible way in terms of being rugged, in terms of being something that can actually work for you over time, and obviously doesn't rust. But remember, there are other things out there. There are composites, as I was just mentioning, that will be going on trucks in the future. You're going to see a lot of hoods made out of composites. Some already are. And there's going to be more and more and more stuff to take the weight down, because less weight, better gas mileage, better performance.
The downside, of course, is more. Exactly.
Cost more.
All right, number 2, Nathan, diesel dominance.
We were just touching on that, and now we're going to jump into it.
Exactly. You've got the Chevy Colorado and the GMC coming out with their diesel, the first to market with basically a small truck.
A small truck diesel in North America.
Exactly, North America, and I predict that that trend is going to continue. Of course, we just talked about the fact that the Nissan Titan is going to have a diesel, and
a V8 diesel that sounds like it's going to be a monster.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, right? Trucks and diesels go together like peanut butter and jelly.
They do.
It's all about torque, it's all about fuel economy, and diesel provides all that.
Yeah, and range. Range is huge as well. And remember, in Europe, and for those of you who are in Europe, we know you've already heard this, but a lot of trucks already come with diesels. In fact, all of your small pickup trucks have diesels. But here in the United States, not so many. And I think that every single truck in the United States will have a form of diesel as an option within the next 5 years. That's a prediction.
Yeah, I can see that. My only reservation with that is I was just reading a story that Paris is trying to outlaw all diesel cars from the center of the city.
Sacre bleu.
Yes, because what ends up happening is when the diesels get old, they get very dirty.
Yes.
Right? And there's a lot of issues with the way that basically you're poisoning yourself and the environment. Don't get me wrong, you know, gasoline engines also poison you. Just do it in a different way. But diesels can be particularly dirty, especially when you pull off all the new, you know, technology off of them that keeps them clean. And a 10-year-old truck is going to be a dirty truck. And let's face it, Nathan, as much as we love power, you know, if you really want the most out of your truck, if you're old school, you're going to pull all that stuff off, because it does really kill the horsepower and the torque.
Yeah, and you and I are not on the same page on this, because I think the minute you pull one thing off, these trucks are so technologically advanced that you'll completely hose the engine and will never work again, and you won't be able to drive it. The reality is that urea and some of these other forms, that clean diesels, will continue on and actually get better and better. We'll have more refined diesel power plants that last longer.
Well, hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. All right, number 1, Nathan, the midsize truck explosion. You know, for a long time, there were no midsize trucks to speak of.
It seems like it. I mean, look, the Tacoma's been around for years and years, and so is the Nissan Frontier. Yeah. But the Tacoma's king. We all know that. I mean,
70% of the market.
70% of the market, and it is still one of the most popular vehicles, despite being one of the oldest vehicles out there. Now, we now have the Chevy Colorado, we now have the GMC Canyon, and their sales and everything show that they are very popular already, and for good reason. They're car-like on the inside, but they're still rugged. They're trucks. They tow well. They haul well. They drive nice, and frankly, I think that's the future. But here's where the cool part comes in. At the Detroit Auto Show, which we are all attending because that's what we do, we're going to have a brand new Tacoma.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yep, we're going to have updates on almost all trucks that are out there, including, I believe, we may have a peek at the Nissan Frontier. And, by the way, the Frontier does have a prototype that he's driven with a diesel. I guarantee you that's coming very, very soon. And then you have a few other vehicles, and the rumor has it that some of the other big automakers may be bringing something small to the market as prototypes. Most importantly, though, smaller trucks are now going to be tailor-made to the driver as opposed to just being some big work truck that was shrunk down. They're now going to be like a personal car, personal expression for people who like to go out and jet ski.
Well, I think there's a huge amount of space, and I've been saying this now forever, for actually a smaller size truck than a mid-size truck. Because even if you look at the Colorado and the Canyon, if you get the long bed, the 6-foot bed with, you know, the regular 4-passenger or 5-passenger truck,
yeah,
it's the size of like an F-150 from 10 years ago.
Yes, it is.
So everything is moving up a size, which leaves a lot of room underneath, right? And
yes.
So the chicken tax is, of course, keeping things like the Amarok from coming to the U.S.,
which is a bummer.
Right, and there's a European version of Ford's Ranger.
Yeah, and an Australian version.
And by the way, I've seen the Ranger, the European Wild Track, right, testing in Detroit. So I don't know if that means that they're actually going to bring it in, but there's certainly room now underneath there for urban people who want trucks and who actually want a truck that is small enough. And I know these mid-sized trucks are supposedly small, but I want a truck that's actually small enough to live with in a city.
Now there is one more truck we forgot to mention, and that is the Honda Ridgeline. They will be producing a new Ridgeline very soon.
Or are they killing it?
No, they're not going to kill it. They announced, and they even showed a silhouette, and we have it on our website, that there is a new Ridgeline.
We've never had one to test. We've begged Honda for the Ridgeline, and the problem, in my opinion, with the Ridgeline is it's neither fish nor fowl, right? So Honda went down the middle. They said, we're going to build a car and truck hybrid, and the problem is if you're a truck guy or gal, you want a truck, and if you're a car guy or gal, you want a car. You don't want something that's kind of in between.
They still sold plenty of them, and I've driven one before. I had to sneak it away because Honda, for some reason, didn't want to give us one. And you know what? It drove very well in the snow. It towed just great. I was towing 4,000 pounds, which it only goes up to 5. But the point is, I'm giving Honda kudos for trying, and now they have another chance to make that truck even better, because let's face it, it looks kind of goofy too. And supposedly they have a whole new idea, a whole new plan, and rumor has it, possibly a diesel.
I'm not holding my breath, dude. All right, and this being TFL Truck, we always like to give you a bonus.
That's right, baby.
And so what is our bonus prediction, Nathan?
Our bonus prediction is right here.
Yeah, we're going to buy more Raptor toys?
Yeah, hardcore off-roaders.
Hell yeah.
Now, so far, really only 2 truck makers are doing it, and that's obviously Ford with the Raptor. Well, actually 3. Ram with their absolutely badass Power Wagon, the Raptor, and also Toyota with their TRD Pros, which are really, really good and really well built for off-roading.
But you were in Las Vegas, I mean, you were in LA this year, and Chevy stuck something under the wire.
That's right. Chevy was teasing everybody with the ZR2 concept. Now, that is an off-road beast based on the Chevy Colorado GMC Canyon platform. And the question is, will they actually build it? Now, they've said no, but I have a feeling that with all of the feedback from all of the people out there who absolutely were going crazy for it, that they may make a light version of it. Most importantly, there are other automakers, truck makers out there who are talking about hardcore versions of various vehicles that are going to be hitting very soon.
So I was at SEMA, you know, and the people were talking about the ZR2, and there are companies actually who are building versions of that, right?
That's right.
Because Chevy did the hard work and then kind of said, well, I actually talked to Odie, who's the GM rep for the Colorado, and I said, hey, are you guys going to build this thing? And he said, all we're saying is what you're seeing. So, you know, he's being very tight-lipped about it, but the fact is, when there are companies building basically versions of what they came out with, they're losing money. They're leaving money on the table. So I just don't understand why GM doesn't jump in with the Raptor Fighter, right? Actually, a factory-built Raptor Fighter, not an aftermarket.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Toyota's gotten the hint. You know, they're all over it. People want that hard off-road truck, even if they never take it off-road. It's a lifestyle vehicle. It competes directly with Jeep.
Yep.
When you think about it, there isn't a lot that competes with Jeep.
Right, that's
with
right.
the demise of Hummer, right?
Yeah.
Right, and trucks like this compete in that segment, I think, and I think the automakers are getting aware of the fact that there's a huge market for serious off-road vehicles, and whether people take them off-road or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this type of truck over at the 2015 North American International Auto Show, which we will be covering. I guarantee you there's going to be some surprises.
So we have a long-term Raptor, and when we first got it, to fill it up, it was a tube swiper, right? Over $100. I just filled it up. I had a quarter tank lift in the truck, right? I filled it up, and I'm getting about 14 knot towing, 11 towing MPG. So I'm getting 14 knot towing, and I was able to use my points from the supermarket.
Yeah.
$1.59 a gallon. Guess how much it costs to put 3/4 of a gas tank into the Raptor?
80 bucks.
39.
What?
39 bucks at $1.59 a gallon.
That's right. That's like half the price of what.
It's cheaper than milk. And with fuel prices that low, of course the development cycle for trucks are a lot longer. At some point, you know, it's going to make sense in a lot of people's minds to go out and get trucks that, while they may not be fuel efficient, are damn cool.
Our friends in Europe and Asia, if you want to apply for a green card, go to. You're like, come on
TFLTruck.com.
Seriously, come on over. Gas prices were some of the cheapest in the entire universe, it seems. And look, it's going to remain that way at least for a little while, but eventually it is going to go back up.
Of course.
Yeah.
And on that happy note, we'll wish you a happy new year, and we want to thank all of our patrons for helping to support this channel. Of course, all of you for subscribing. We're just this close from 100,000 subscribers, Nathan.
We are really close.
We're going to get there in January, so have a great 2015. And remember, check out TFL Truck and, of course, TFL Car for all the new trucks and cars from the Detroit Auto Show, and that is coming up in less than 2 weeks, dude.
That's right, and we're going to have stuff that you will not be able to believe. Yeah, mind blown.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a truck guy or gal.
Take care, guys.
Happy New Year.